There comes a moment in the life of every chosen one when they realize that lust is not merely a habit of the body, but a distraction of the soul. Lust promises pleasure, excitement, and escape, yet it quietly drains clarity, discipline, spiritual authority, and inner peace. For the chosen one, lust is especially dangerous because it targets vision. It blurs purpose, weakens self-control, and turns sacred creative energy into scattered impulses. This message is not about shame or condemnation. It is about liberation. When a chosen one masters lust, they do not become cold or emotionless. They become powerful, focused, and deeply aligned with their divine calling. Ending lust is not accomplished by willpower alone. Many people try to fight lust with resistance, only to feel trapped in cycles of guilt and relapse. The chosen one must approach this differently, through awareness, redirection, identity transformation, and spiritual discipline. Lust fades not when it is violently suppressed, but when it is outgrown. The following steps are not quick fixes, they are transformational practices. If you apply them sincerely, lust will lose its grip, and you will step into a higher level of self-mastery, clarity, and spiritual authority. Step 1. Accept that lust is misused creative energy. The very first step toward ending lust is rooted not in suppression, shame, or self-condemnation, but in deep, honest understanding. Lust, contrary to common belief, is not inherently sinful, morally corrupt, or evidence of personal weakness. It is energy. It is a dynamic, vibrant, life-giving force, a form of creative energy that has simply lost direction. Every chosen one carries immense reservoirs of power, not only in their mind and spirit, but within their very physical and emotional being. When this energy is properly channeled, it fuels creativity, innovation, and the pursuit of purpose. When misdirected, however, it finds expression in compulsive desires, fleeting pleasures, and uncontrolled impulses. The tragedy of lust is not that it exists, but that it often manifests when a person has no clear mission, no constructive outlet for their innate vitality. Once you fully recognize this, something shifts dramatically within the psyche. The first victory against lust is self-compassion. You stop hating yourself, stop labeling yourself as weak or immoral, and instead begin to see your urges as signals, not failures. They are indicators that your energy is seeking expression, that it longs to be redirected toward creation rather than consumption. This reframing alone significantly diminishes lust's power, because the mind is no longer divided between desire and guilt. It is empowered with clarity and direction. When you assign your energy a higher purpose, whether in building meaningful work, developing your intellect, creating art, serving humanity, or advancing spiritually, you naturally occupy the channels through which lust formerly manifested. Focus becomes the antidote to distraction. The chosen one discovers that a purposeful life, lived intentionally, leaves very little room for compulsive desires to dominate thought or action. Lust is not beaten by sheer willpower. It fades because your energy is already engaged in endeavors far greater than momentary pleasure. Over time, this shift in orientation reshapes identity. No longer is lust a defining feature of your existence, it becomes a transient echo from a past self, something that no longer resonates with who you are becoming. Recognizing lust as misused creative energy, and then consciously redirecting that energy into higher pursuits, allows the chosen one to reclaim mastery over the mind, body, and spirit. This is not merely a psychological exercise, it is a profound realignment of life force itself, a spiritual and practical strategy that dissolves compulsion at its source. Step 2. Remove triggers without negotiation. A key principle in mastering lust is understanding that it rarely arises spontaneously. It is almost always provoked by external or internal triggers. stimuli that the mind has learned to associate with pleasure, excitement, or release. These triggers are insidious because they are disguised as normal aspects of daily life. Certain images, social media feeds, conversations, music, entertainment, or even environments can repeatedly stimulate the neural pathways that fuel lust. The chosen one must adopt a mindset of ruthlessness, not out of harshness toward the self, but out of strategic wisdom. Removing these triggers is not a suggestion or a gentle recommendation. It is a non-negotiable act of self-preservation. If you repeatedly expose yourself to provocative material while simultaneously praying for restraint, you are engaging in a cycle of self-sabotage, reinforcing neural patterns that perpetuate desire and undermining your own growth. Discipline begins with environment management. This may involve deleting apps, unfollowing certain accounts, changing media consumption habits, rearranging living spaces, or even reconsidering social circles that encourage indulgence. This practice is not evidence of weakness. It is the mark of foresight and intelligence. Even the strongest willpower has limits when constantly bombarded by stimulation. Protecting your sensory input is equivalent to protecting your destiny. Our subconscious mind rehearses what it sees repeatedly. What it rehearses, the body eventually acts upon. Thus, by controlling exposure to triggers, the chosen one is actively reshaping their internal environment, reprogramming patterns, and eliminating habitual prompts that fuel lust. This requires courage because it often means confronting convenience, habit, and peer culture. It requires rejecting what feels familiar in favor of what is ultimately life-giving. Over time, consistent environmental control produces freedom. The mind no longer stumbles blindly into temptation because the very sources that once provoked desire have been removed. The chosen one begins to experience a sense of sovereignty, a profound inner stability. This is more than mere discipline. It is a deliberate orchestration of surroundings to align with a higher calling, ensuring that energy is directed toward growth, purpose, and the fulfillment of one's destiny. Step 3. Starve fantasy and return to the present moment. Lust's strongest weapon is the imagination. It thrives not in reality, but in the mental rehearsal of scenarios, the replaying of images, and the embellishment of experiences that may never occur. When a chosen one indulges in fantasy, lust gains life and momentum. It feeds on the mind's attention and grows stronger with every imagined scene. The third step, therefore, is learning to intercept these fantasies the moment they arise and to return deliberately to the present moment. This is not about self-punishment, harsh judgment, or anxiety. It is about cultivating awareness and control. When a lustful thought emerges, you do not need to resist it with force or shame. You simply acknowledge it, recognize it as a mental event, and then redirect your attention to what is real: the breath moving through your body, the sensations of the moment, or the task at hand. This redirection is an act of empowerment because it denies lust the fuel it requires: attention and imagination. The present moment, by its very nature, is neutral and unarousing. It is reality stripped of exaggeration, drama, and desire. Lust is an abstract energy. It cannot sustain itself where the mind is fully engaged in reality. By training the mind to inhabit the now, the chosen one starves fantasy, weakening lust gradually but inexorably. This practice demands patience and consistency. Every interruption of a fantasy is a small victory. Every return to presence strengthens mental sovereignty. Over time, the mind learns that indulgence in fantasy no longer provides reward. The more grounded you become in reality, the less room there is for imagined desire. What once dominated thought becomes a faint echo, powerless in the face of a mind fully awake, fully engaged, and fully invested in purpose. Mastery of the present moment is, therefore, not only a method to overcome lust, it is a profound practice in self-mastery, teaching the chosen one to inhabit reality fully, to direct attention intentionally, and to live in alignment with both higher purpose and authentic experience. Step 4. Strengthen the body to discipline the mind. Physical strength is intimately connected to mental discipline, and nowhere is this connection more apparent than in the mastery of lust. A body that is weak, fatigued, or undisciplined becomes fertile ground for temptation. When the body is neglected, the mind seeks comfort and stimulation through external sources, often turning to lust as a form of relief or distraction. The fourth step, therefore, is the deliberate cultivation of bodily strength and resilience. Exercise, fasting, intentional movement, and consistent physical routines are far more than health practices. They are tools for spiritual and psychological mastery. Each act of physical discipline sends a profound message to the subconscious. Discomfort can be endured, urges can be managed, and control is possible. The mind, observing the body's obedience and fortitude, gradually aligns itself with the same principles of discipline. The chosen one who prioritizes bodily training experiences a cascade of effects that extend beyond the physical. Strength fosters confidence. Confidence reduces the need to seek external validation or gratification through lust. Endurance teaches patience, resilience, and self-reliance. Even small routines, consistently practiced, reshape neural pathways and reinforce the identity of a disciplined individual. Furthermore, a strong body is a temple that communicates reverence for life, energy, and purpose. Every rep, every moment of discomfort willingly embraced, strengthens the mind's capacity to withstand temptation. Over time, the relationship between body and mind transforms. Lust, which once seemed overwhelming, becomes an inconsequential impulse in the face of a person who has cultivated both physical and mental sovereignty. Physical mastery is thus not merely about health or aesthetics. It is a foundational pillar in the architecture of a chosen one's spiritual, mental, and emotional integrity, making the body a partner in the quest for freedom from compulsive desire. Step 5. Replace dopamine addiction with purposeful reward. Lust is deeply intertwined with the brain's dopamine system, the neurological circuitry responsible for pleasure, motivation, and reward. Most people experience lust as a form of dopamine addiction, a craving for instant gratification, a pursuit of quick, transient pleasure that momentarily stimulates the nervous system but ultimately leaves emptiness in its wake. The fifth step is to consciously rewire the brain's reward pathways, replacing shallow, compulsive pleasures with purposeful, meaningful rewards. This involves celebrating achievement, growth, creativity, discipline, and service rather than fleeting physical or digital stimulation. Every time the mind and body are trained to recognize fulfillment in delayed, meaningful outcomes, the appeal of lust diminishes naturally. Pleasure becomes aligned with growth, not escape. The chosen one begins to find joy in alignment rather than indulgence. Success, discipline, and mastery trigger a deeper, more sustainable dopamine response than mere gratification ever could. This is not about denying pleasure entirely, it is about recalibrating the system so that only experiences aligned with purpose produce lasting satisfaction. The mind learns that the old pathways, fantasy, compulsive scrolling, indulgent consumption, no longer provide the dopamine it craves. Instead, fulfillment is anchored in deliberate actions that move life forward. Over time, this rewiring changes not only behavior but identity itself. The chosen one is no longer defined by desire or compulsion but by alignment, productivity, and meaningful action. Lust loses relevance because the brain has found a more powerful, sustaining source of satisfaction. The deep, enduring reward of living intentionally, serving purposefully, and creating life in harmony with divine design. Step 6. Develop a strong spiritual routine. Lust is rarely defeated in isolation from the spirit. A life without spiritual structure is like a ship without a rudder, prone to drifting wherever waves of desire, impulse, or distraction push it. The chosen one understands that spiritual discipline is not an optional luxury but a foundational pillar in mastering the self. Developing a strong spiritual routine creates a consistent daily environment in which awareness, reverence, and inner clarity can flourish. Prayer, meditation, reflection, study of sacred texts, or periods of silence are not mere rituals. They are tools of transformation. They strengthen the mind's ability to observe urges without surrendering to them, allowing insight to rise above impulse. Every time the mind is intentionally anchored in spiritual practice, it becomes sharper, more present, and more capable of discerning between fleeting pleasure and higher purpose. Spiritual discipline also cultivates a profound sense of reverence, both for oneself and for others. When you begin to see your body as a temple and your energy as sacred, the reckless pursuit of lust naturally loses appeal. Daily practices train the mind to recognize the difference between short-term indulgence and long-term alignment. Over time, you develop an intuitive understanding of energy exchange, the recognition that every interaction, glance, or thought carries weight. Lust, which thrives in environments of spiritual inconsistency or moral ambiguity, finds no foothold where awareness is constant and reverence is practiced. The chosen one begins to experience a subtle but powerful shift. Temptations may still appear, but they are no longer threatening. They are merely signals, reminders of growth opportunities. By rooting life in consistent spiritual engagement, lust becomes a transient wave rather than a consuming storm. In essence, spiritual routines are a defensive fortress against distraction and a training ground for mastery. They are not about punishment or suppression. They are about empowering the mind to live in alignment with its highest calling. The chosen one who commits to daily spiritual practices transforms both identity and habit, reinforcing that lust is no longer the path to fulfillment. It is only a passing echo of misdirected energy in a life now anchored to clarity, purpose, and sacred awareness. Step 7. Reframe attraction as sacred, not consumable. One of the most profound transformations in mastering lust comes through perception, learning to see attraction not as an opportunity for consumption, but as a sacred acknowledgement of life, beauty, and essence. Lust often arises from objectification, the unconscious belief that another's beauty or energy exists to satisfy desire or ego. The chosen one, however, learns to separate admiration from possession. Seeing beauty does not necessitate indulgence, and feeling attraction does not require action. This reframing is transformative because it shifts focus from external gratification to internal alignment. Attraction becomes a mirror, reflecting not what can be taken or consumed, but what can be appreciated, honored, and respected. In this reframed perspective, the body, mind, and spirit of another human are no longer playgrounds for fleeting pleasure. They are living expressions of existence, deserving of dignity, acknowledgement, and sacred attention. When the mind is trained to see attraction in this light, lust begins to dissolve naturally. You no longer experience tension, frustration, or craving because the impulse to consume has been replaced with the capacity to honor. Every interaction, every glance, every thought becomes an opportunity to witness life without grasping it. This practice also strengthens empathy, emotional intelligence, and self-restraint, allowing the chosen one to engage with the world from a place of reverence rather than compulsion. Over time, the very energy that once fed lust is redirected toward respect, understanding, and deeper connection with one's own purpose. Attraction becomes an invitation to witness beauty without disturbance, to appreciate without attachment, and to channel the awareness it produces into creativity, service, and personal growth. In this way, the Chosen One transcends old patterns, learning that lust loses its power wherever dignity and sacred attention are present. This is not a denial of human experience. It is the refinement of energy, turning what was once destructive into an instrument of self-mastery and conscious living. Step 8. Practice solitude and silence. Lust thrives on distraction, noise, and constant stimulation. It feeds on external chaos, the relentless pull of social pressure, and the habitual desire to avoid discomfort. The Chosen One recognizes that mastery cannot occur amidst this chaos. Solitude and silence are not punishments or isolations to endure, they are deliberate, powerful tools for reclaiming inner authority. When the mind is removed from the relentless bombardment of external input, urges, distractions, and compulsions rise to the surface, revealing themselves for what they truly are. In silence, there is nothing to hide behind. Temptation is confronted directly, but so is clarity. In these moments, the Chosen One sits with discomfort, observes it, and allows it to dissolve naturally. The act of sitting with oneself without distraction cultivates patience, presence, and profound self-trust, demonstrating that one can survive and even thrive without succumbing to impulsive gratification. Solitude also provides the space for reflection, discernment, and alignment with one's higher self. In this quiet, the mind begins to identify the triggers, thought patterns, and emotional habits that fuel lust, allowing the Chosen One to address them at their root rather than merely suppress them. The practice strengthens willpower. In a subtle, deep, and lasting way, mastery arises not from force, but from presence, observation, and understanding. Over time, the Chosen One discovers that the external world no longer dictates internal states. Peace, focus, and clarity come from within. Silence teaches that energy is not to be scattered but to be observed, refined, and directed with intention. Lust, which thrives in noise, chaos, and escape, naturally loses power when confronted with the quiet authority of a disciplined, attentive mind. Solitude, therefore, is not loneliness. It is empowerment, a sacred training ground where mastery over desire and attention is forged through patient observation, self-awareness, and unwavering presence. Step 9. Anchor your identity in who you are becoming. The final step in transcending lust is identity transformation. Lust has power over individuals who still see themselves as separate from their potential, as beings defined by impulsive desires, weaknesses, or fleeting urges. The Chosen One learns to anchor behavior in the identity of who they are becoming rather than attempting to micromanage every thought or desire. Instead of asking, "How do I stop lusting?" the question evolves into a declaration, "I am a disciplined, focused, spiritually aligned individual. Lust is foreign to who I am." Behavior is a natural reflection of identity. Once identity shifts, old patterns no longer resonate. When the mind, body, and spirit fully embody the principles of discipline, focus, and sacred awareness, lust begins to feel out of place, irrelevant, and even absurd. Transformation occurs not through constant struggle, but through the evolution of self-concept. Anchoring identity also strengthens resilience. Challenges, temptations, and old habits become markers, not roadblocks. The Chosen One views urges as temporary echoes from a previous stage of life rather than commands to obey. Every act of alignment reinforces identity, and over time the mind no longer entertains lust because it is inconsistent with the self that has been consciously created. This process is both liberating and empowering. You are no longer a victim of impulses but a creator of your inner reality. Transformation is thus organic, integrated, and sustainable. The Chosen One evolves beyond old patterns not by forceful suppression, but by embodying a life in which lust no longer has a place. Energy is no longer drained by conflict with desire, It is fully invested in the pursuit of purpose, mastery, and higher alignment. In this way, identity becomes the ultimate shield and compass, ensuring that lust fades naturally as the chosen one continues to grow into the highest version of themselves. If this message reached you at a moment when you needed clarity, strength, and alignment, it is not by accident. Ending lust is not about perfection. It is about direction. Each step you take toward discipline strengthens your authority and sharpens your purpose. If you are committed to becoming the highest version of yourself, stay connected. This is the Zillion Mind channel. Subscribe to this channel for more messages designed to awaken, strengthen, and guide chosen ones on their journey. And if this message arrived at the exact time your spirit needed it most, type 1111 in the comment section as a sign of alignment and divine blessings. Your transformation has already begun. Thank you for watching.
Listen carefully, because it is no accident that you are here today, reading these exact words at this exact moment. You have made the best decision by stopping to receive this message, because nothing happens by chance when I am working in your life. I am the Almighty God, the one who creates paths where there seem to be none, the one who changes destinies in an instant, lifts the fallen from the dust, and restores what was lost to those who thought restoration was impossible. I have seen your tears. Not just seen them, but collected them. Every single one. I watched you cry in your car before walking into work with a smile painted on your face. I saw you in the bathroom at 2:47 a.m., looking at yourself in the mirror, wondering if you still recognize the person staring back. I heard your silent prayers, the ones you whispered under your breath when everyone else thought you were fine. I watched your nights of worry when you questioned if I truly heard you, if I truly cared, if I was even paying attention to someone like you. Today I am here to tell you that yes, I hear you. Yes, I see you. And yes, I am here to respond. Those who wait on me will not be ashamed, for I renew the strength of the weary, rebuild what seemed broken beyond repair, and pour out blessings so great that you will not have enough room to contain them. Before you continue reading, I need you to do something right now. Type 777 in the comments below. This is not just a number. This is your signal to heaven that you are listening, that you are ready, that you are positioning yourself to receive what I am about to release. When you type those numbers, angels take notice. Doors begin to unlock. The atmosphere around your life begins to shift. Do it now before reading another word. My desire is to bless you and your family so abundantly that your story will no longer be the same. The testimony you will carry will be so powerful that others will ask you what changed, what happened. How did you go from that place to this place? But I do not only bring blessings today, I also bring a warning, and you must pay attention to both. I am a God of love. This is true. I am compassionate, patient, slow to anger, rich in mercy. But I am also a God of order and truth. I am a God of timing and seasons. And there are moments, specific moments, when heaven opens a window that will not remain open forever. This is one of those moments. If you do not stay attentive to my voice, if you do not honor this message I am giving you today, the path to miracles and supernatural provision will close before you. I am the one who opens doors, and I am the one who closes them. I say this to you clearly, with love but also with urgency. Do not ignore my word. What I have prepared for you is not just another message to scroll past, not something to save for later, not something to dismiss as just another video. This is divine instruction that will shape your future and that of your family. Watch carefully for what I am about to do, because when you wake up tomorrow morning, you will receive a financial miracle that will resolve what once seemed impossible. Let me be specific. This is not vague spiritual language. I am talking about actual money, actual resources, actual provision that will hit your account, arrive in your mailbox, come through a phone call you were not expecting. This miracle will not come through your strength, through your networking, through your contacts, or through human logic and planning. It will come directly from my hand, from heaven's treasury, from resources that do not depend on the economy, on your job security, on the stock market, or on any human system. I will open the heavens in your favor and show you that there are no limits for those who believe in me. This miracle will be so powerful that it will bring freedom to your home. Not just covering your immediate bills, not just getting you through this month, but uprooting the very spirit of scarcity and stagnation that has followed you for years. Some of you have been in the same financial position for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. The numbers change slightly, but the struggle remains the same. That cycle breaks tomorrow. I am not a God who gives halfway. I am not a God who abandons his children in the middle of the journey. I am the God who completes what he starts and brings to fulfillment everything he has promised. Because of your faith, because of your dedication, because of your daily devotion, even when you felt like giving up, things will begin to shift in your favor in ways you have never experienced. What was stuck will start to flow like water breaking through a dam. What was closed will begin to open like flowers responding to sunlight. What seemed dead will come to life like Lazarus walking out of the tomb. I am sending a new wind over you, a fresh breeze that carries the scent of change, of breakthrough, of new beginnings. This is your time of glory, even if your eyes still see a desert when you look at your bank account. Even if your hands have not yet received everything you desire, I assure you that I am already working in what you cannot see. In the spiritual realm, in dimensions beyond your natural vision, I am moving mountains, opening treasuries, releasing resources, aligning circumstances. And soon you will witness it all come to life before your physical eyes. Do not lose heart, for I am never late. I do not fail, and I do not forget the promises I have made to you. Stay strong, keep praying, keep believing even when it seems impossible, for your faith is the key that will open heaven's storehouses for you. If you are still reading, comment, "I receive this" right now. This is your second checkpoint, your confirmation that you are not just reading words but activating spiritual laws. Your written declaration matters. When you type those words, you are creating agreement between heaven and earth. Do not ignore a single word of this message, because it may be your last chance to experience this miracle in its fullness. I do not say this to manipulate you or to create fear. I say it because timing matters in the kingdom. There are seasons when heaven is open, and there are seasons when heaven waits. Right now, the window is open. Tomorrow it might still be open, but I cannot promise you next week, next month, or next year. Hold tightly to my voice. Stay close to me, for I am your refuge, your strength, and the one who can change your life in an instant. I have done it before for others. Let me tell you what happened to people just like you who took this message seriously. Maria from Houston was 3 months behind on rent, eviction notice on her door, nowhere to turn. She read this message on a Tuesday night at 11 p.m. She typed 737. She commented, "I received this." She believed. Thursday morning, not Wednesday but Thursday, a check arrived in her mail from a class action lawsuit she had completely forgotten about. $8,400. Covered her back rent, first month forward, and left her with enough to breathe for the first time in a year. James from Philadelphia had been praying for a financial breakthrough for his business for 2 years. Sales were down, debt was up, he was considering bankruptcy. He watched this message while sitting in his empty store after closing. He typed 777. He activated his faith. Within 72 hours, not 71 and not 73, a corporate buyer reached out wanting to purchase his product line. Contract signed for $75,000 up front. His business is now thriving. Linda from Phoenix, single mother of 3, car broke down, no money to fix it. About to lose her job because she could not get to work. She saw this message, typed 777 through tears, declared, "I received this," even though her mind said it was foolish. The next morning her neighbor knocked on her door and said, "I had a dream last night that I was supposed to give you my old car. I just bought a new one and the old one is just sitting there." It's yours if you want it. She drove to work that day crying tears of gratitude. These are not made-up stories. These are real people who took real action and experienced real breakthrough because they honored the moment when heaven was speaking. Now listen closely to what I declare over your life today, because my words do not return empty, but they accomplish the purpose for which I send them. The time has come when you will see your deepest desires come true. I am the God who answers the prayers of those who love and trust in me. I have seen how long you have waited. Some of you have been waiting 3 years, some 5, some 10. Some have been waiting so long you stopped counting the years because counting made the pain worse. I have seen how deeply you have dreamed, the visions you saw late at night when sleep would not come, the possibilities that danced in your imagination before reality crushed them with its weight. I have seen how much you have cried out, how many times you lifted your hands in desperation, how many prayers you prayed that felt like they evaporated into empty air. And even though there were times you thought I had forgotten you, today I assure you that you were never out of my sight, not for 1 second, not for 1 moment. There is no place you can go where I am not already there. There is no situation you can fall into where my hand cannot reach you. Today I open before you doors of blessing that no one can shut. Not your past mistakes, not your current circumstances, not the people who said you would never amount to anything, not the enemy who has been fighting your breakthrough. When I open a door, it stays open. When I release a blessing, it cannot be recalled. When I speak a word over your life, it will come to pass. I am the one who makes a way when there seems to be none. I made a highway in the sea for my people when they were trapped between the army and the ocean. I am the one who makes springs appear in the desert. I turned bitter water sweet. I brought water from solid rock. I am the one who makes the seeds hidden in fertile soil bloom at the right time. Not too early to be destroyed by frost. Not too late to miss the season. And now is that time. Now is when you will see the fruit of your prayers, your waiting, and your faith. I have not forgotten your deepest desires, even those you have not shared with anyone, even those you thought were too selfish to pray for, even those that seemed impossible or too great for someone like you. I have heard them all, every single one. And today I come to tell you that I take great pleasure in blessing you. It brings me joy to see my children prosper. It delights my heart to answer prayers. It satisfies something deep within my nature to prove my faithfulness to those who trust me. That is why I say to you, I allow you to rest. I give you permission to take time off, to enjoy the peace I promised, to stop striving and start receiving. Your strength has been wearing out. You have been running on empty for too long. Your heart has been burdened with weights you were never meant to carry alone. I am not a God who ignores the tiredness of my children. I see you trying to be strong when you are falling apart inside. I see you pushing through when every cell in your body is screaming for relief. I give rest to those who seek me. I renew those who feel weak. I lift up the fallen. Enjoy the good things in life. Every smile that crosses your face, every moment of joy that breaks through the heaviness, every deep breath that fills your lungs with clean air is a gift from me. Do not be afraid to rejoice, to smile, to enjoy life. You are worthy of every moment of happiness because you have walked in faith even when faith felt impossible. I also hear the cry of your heart for a new car. Some of you reading this right now need reliable transportation. You are tired of the breakdowns, the repairs that cost more than the car is worth, the anxiety every time you turn the key wondering if it will start. You need more than just a way to get from one place to another. You need a clear sign that I bless those who sincerely seek me. I have seen how you have longed to travel in comfort and safety. I know your thoughts when you look at others driving nice vehicles, and you feel a mixture of happiness for them and sadness for yourself. I want you to know that I do not overlook even the smallest details of your life. The car you drive matters to me because you matter to me. Today, I declare that the time has come for you to drive a vehicle that reflects your hard work, your dedication, and your trust in me. You will not see it just as a car, but as a sign that I hear even your quietest prayers. Feel the wind on your face as you drive toward the places you have always dreamed of going. Every mile you travel will remind you that I opened doors that were once closed, that I multiplied what you had, and that I honored your obedience and perseverance. For I am not a man who can lie, nor the son of man who needs to change his mind. What I say, I make happen. What I promise, I bring to pass. Numbers 23:19 says it clearly. God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? In this new time I am giving you, every step you take, every journey you embark on, every path you walk will be a celebration of my faithfulness and my love for you. So do not doubt, do not fear, and do not think any of this is too much for you. I tell you, if you stay rooted in my word and keep my voice in your heart, I will ensure that you lack nothing. Just as today I speak to you of rest, provision, joy, and a new vehicle marking a new season in your life, know that this is just the beginning of what I am going to do. I am the one who speaks from the highest place, the one who holds the universe with the power of my word. Today I stretch my hands over your life to declare that a completely new time has begun. Before I continue, I need you to take 4 specific actions right now. These are not suggestions. These are instructions from heaven that will position you to receive everything I am releasing. First, hit the like button on this video. This is your spiritual signature, your way of saying, yes, I agree with this word over my life. Second, comment your name followed by the word activated. Write it exactly like this. Your name, activated. This creates a written covenant between you and heaven. Third, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. More messages are coming that are specifically for this season you are entering. Fourth, share this message with one person right now. Someone came to your mind while you were reading this. That is not coincidence. Their breakthrough is connected to your obedience to share. Complete all 4 actions before you continue reading. Heaven is watching to see if you will honor simple instructions before complex blessings are released. The cycle of scarcity and closed doors is ending, and a new cycle of abundance, honor, and eternal favor is beginning. For a long time you have walked with limitations. You have carried burdens that seemed too heavy for one person to bear. You faced moments when everything around you felt like an endless desert, sand and heat as far as your eyes could see. No oasis, no shade, no relief. But I tell you that desert is about to bloom. I have decreed that from the dry ground will spring rivers of living water, and nothing and no one can stop what I have already set in motion. The tears you shed in secret, the words you never spoke out loud but that reached my throne, they have not been forgotten. Every cry has become a seed planted in heaven's garden, and now those seeds are starting to sprout. I am the one who multiplies the little, who turns weakness into strength, who makes the impossible happen right in front of witnesses so they cannot deny my power. Do not focus on what you lost. Do not rehearse the failures. Do not replay the disappointments. I am bringing something new, something greater than what you once had. My goal is to surprise you with the greatness of my works and show you that my faithfulness is unshakable even when everything else shakes. The time of restoration has arrived. I will restore what seemed lost forever. I will bring back what you thought would never return. And I will add even more than you imagine. The enemy tried to make you believe you were forgotten. He filled your mind with doubts and fears. He whispered that you are not important enough for God to notice, not faithful enough for God to help, not worthy enough for God to bless. But I say to you that nothing and no one can take you from my hand. Every force that has risen against you will fall. No weapon formed against you will succeed. Isaiah 54:17 confirms this. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. I am breaking down the walls that have kept you from moving forward. I am shattering the chains that have held you bound. Chains of debt, chains of addiction, chains of depression, chains of anxiety, chains of generational poverty, chains of shame from past mistakes. Every single chain is breaking right now as you read these words. You have walked through many questions, faced silences that felt endless, sat in rooms where the quiet was so loud it hurt your ears. But understand that every silence from me was for preparation. While you thought nothing was happening, I was organizing what you could not see. While you believed everything had stopped, I was laying down firm foundations so that what I give you now will stand strong through any storm. I am here to change the course of your story. What once caused you shame will become a reason for honor. What seemed like a loss will turn into a gain. What people used as ammunition against you, I will transform into a testimony that sets others free. I will make your voice heard far and wide. Your presence will be light in dark places. I do not light a lamp to hide it under a basket, but to make it shine so everyone in the house can see. I am placing a radiance upon you that comes not from you, but from me. That radiance will open doors, build trust, and bring recognition where you were once overlooked. The season you are entering is one of growth. You will not only see changes in your material life, in your finances, in your possessions, but also deep changes in your spiritual journey. Your faith will grow from a small seed to a mighty tree. Your vision will broaden from seeing just today to seeing generations ahead. Your understanding will be sharpened like a blade refined in fire. What you did not understand before will start to make sense. Pieces that seemed random will connect into a clear picture. I will give you the discernment you need to navigate what is coming. I will guide you step by step, and you will not walk in darkness or stumble in uncertainty. I will go before you like I went before my people in the wilderness, leading you as a pillar of fire by night so you can see where to go even in the darkest moments, leading you as a cloud by day to give you shade from the burning heat of life's pressures. I am opening doors to places you have never been, to opportunities you have never imagined, to paths that others thought were closed forever. You will walk through those doors and people will ask, "How did you get access to that?" And you will know it was not your resume, not your connections, not your credentials. It was my hand opening what no human could open. I will give you the ability to manage the new things I place in your hands. It will not feel like a burden, but a blessing that brings freedom and peace. It will not cause you worry, but joy. My provision does not come with sorrow. Proverbs 10:22 says it clearly. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. It brings rest and joy and fulfillment. In the midst of everything I give, remember that the key to this new season is to keep your trust in me. Do not hold on to the past like someone clutching old photographs. Do not try to cling to what I have already left behind. Look ahead, for that is where I am unfolding the new. Do not retreat in fear when the blessing seems too big. Do not doubt because of what others say. I am the one who validates your path. I am the one who confirms your calling. I am the one who approves your promotion. I will lift you up in such a way that those who once saw you struggle will now witness your victory. Those who knew you in times of scarcity will now see your abundance. Those who saw you broken will now see your restoration. And when this happens, you will know for sure that my word never fails, that my promises are solid as rock, and that my faithfulness remains unchanged from generation to generation. Remember what is written in Isaiah 43:19, a verse I want you to write down and put where you will see it every day. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So it will be in your life. You will see paths where there were none. You will see provision where there was once emptiness. You will see fulfillment where only promises once waited. Today I confirm that everything I have spoken will not just be words floating in the air. You will see it come to life in your own experience, so clearly that there will be no room for doubt. The time is set. The season is here, and I will be your guarantee that the impossible becomes possible. Stand firm, for what has been declared from above will come down with power upon you. I am the one who establishes kingdoms and brings down powers. I am the one who brings life to what was dead and transforms ruins into beauty. Today, I declare a new time for you when all limitations will be left behind, and growth will be seen in every area of your life. It will not be small or slow progress. It will be a sudden display of my greatness in your life. Those who once mocked you will be quiet, for they will see with their own eyes the power I have shown in you. I have prepared places of peace for you where your feet will find rest. The path you once walked with exhaustion, you will now walk with joy, because my presence will give you strength and my spirit will guide you. You will not walk in fear, because where you place your foot, I will be with you. You will not fear scarcity, because in the middle of lack, I will open fountains of provision. You will not fear the future, for I am already there, preparing everything for your good. I am awakening talents in you that have been hidden, gifts that seem dormant but will now shine. You will rise with new wisdom, fresh ideas, and strategies that do not come from your own thinking, but from the inspiration I give you. This creativity will open doors you never imagined, and people will seek your advice because they will recognize that wisdom flows from you. Before we close, I want to count you into your new reality. Your breakthrough is not coming. It is here. Your miracle is not tomorrow. It is now. Close your eyes if you can. Take a deep breath. Feel your lungs expand with the breath of life I gave you. Now exhale slowly, releasing every doubt, every fear, every limitation. Your transformation begins in 5. Heaven is releasing specific angels assigned to your breakthrough. 4. Financial miracles are manifesting in the spiritual realm, about to cross into the physical. 3. Doors are unlocking. Opportunities are aligning. Divine appointments are being scheduled. 2. Everything that tried to stop you is falling away like chains dropping to the ground. 1. Activated. It is done. The declaration is made. The blessing is released. The miracle is in motion. Heaven has moved on your behalf. Angels are working in ways you cannot see. Your enemies are confused about what to do next, because my favor on your life has shifted the entire landscape. Welcome to your new season. Welcome to your time of supernatural provision. Welcome to the chapter where everything changes. Do not forget what you committed to do. Like this video, comment your name and activate it. Subscribe with all notifications on. Share with one person. Your obedience positions you to receive. Watch what happens in the next 24 hours. Watch what happens in the next 72 hours. Watch what happens in the next 7 days. Notice the phone calls. Notice the checks in the mail. Notice the opportunities. Notice the open doors. Notice how things that seemed impossible are suddenly becoming possible. The best is yet to come. Your life will never be the same again. You have suffered enough. Your season of struggle is over. Your time of breakthrough is here. I have spoken it. Angels have heard it. Hell has been notified. Heaven has moved. This is not hopeful thinking. This is prophetic declaration. This is divine truth. This is what happens when the God of the universe decides to intervene in a human life and show his power in unmistakable ways. Your appointed time is now. Your financial miracle is released. Your provision is on the way. Your new season has begun. Receive it. Believe it. Walk in it. And watch me prove to you and everyone watching that I am still the God who does impossible things for ordinary people who dare to believe. Like, comment, subscribe, share. The rest is up to heaven, and heaven never fails. It is done.
There comes a time in every chosen one's life when your spirit begins to crave something deeper. Not noise, not company, not distraction, but divine alignment. You start to feel a sacred pull, as if heaven itself is calling you to step away from the world's chaos and step into the quiet places where your soul can breathe again. These are not random destinations. These are holy sanctuaries God has designed to restore your inner strength, cleanse your mind, and refill your spiritual cup. When the world feels heavy and your energy feels drained, God will often whisper, "Go there." because he knows that certain places carry a frequency your soul was meant to encounter. Before we begin, if this message finds you right when you needed it most, when your spirit feels tired or your faith needs a reminder, this is your confirmation that the divine has guided you here. Type 1111 in the comment section as a symbol of alignment and divine blessings flowing into your life. And if you are new to this family of light, make sure to subscribe, because every message here is not just a word, it's a spiritual awakening. Now, let's go deep into the 9 sacred places God said you should go to raise your spirit. Chosen one. 1. The mountaintop. There's a reason prophets, mystics, and spiritual warriors have always sought the solitude of the mountains. Mountains represent elevation, not just physically, but spiritually. They are the meeting ground between heaven and earth, the place where the veil feels thinner and where silence speaks louder than words. When you climb a mountain, whether literal or symbolic, you leave behind the noise of the world, the opinions, the expectations, the distractions, and you move closer to divine clarity. Every step upward strips you of something heavy: doubt, fear, confusion, or ego. When Moses ascended Mount Sinai, it wasn't only to receive the commandments, it was to encounter God in pure stillness. The mountain is where revelation happens. Chosen one, when life feels clouded and you can't hear God clearly, it's time to ascend. Go where the air is clear and your spirit can breathe. Sit on a rock and let the wind move through you. That is not just air, it is spirit whispering truth. Look at the horizon and remember how small your troubles are in the vastness of creation. The higher you climb, the lighter you become. And when you finally reach the top, don't rush. Rest, breathe, listen. Because at the mountaintop, your prayers rise unblocked, your thoughts become sacred, and your soul feels seen. It is there that God reminds you of who you are and what you're meant to do. Go there when you need perspective, when you need to release the weight of the world. On the mountain, God doesn't just reveal himself, he reveals you, too. The water's edge. Whether it's the ocean, a river, or a still lake, there is something profoundly divine about the water's edge. From the very beginning of creation, God's Spirit moved over the waters, and it still does. Water is not just a natural element, it's a living symbol of cleansing, renewal, and emotional restoration. When you sit by the water, watch how it moves, always flowing, never fighting. It teaches you how to let go, how to trust divine timing, and how to allow life to carry you forward instead of resisting every turn. Chosen one, when your spirit feels heavy, go to the water. Let it minister to you in silence. Watch the waves come and go like breaths from heaven, washing away the residue of pain, guilt, or confusion that has clung to you for too long. There's a reason Jesus called his first disciples by the sea. He met them where the waters touched the land, the point between the known and the unknown, the safe and the surrendered. The ocean represents faith because it reminds you that you can't control everything, yet you can trust the flow. The lake represents reflection, teaching you to see beyond your surface emotions into deeper stillness, and the river represents transition, a reminder that life is always moving and God's purpose is never stagnant. Dip your hands in the water, whisper your worries into it and watch them drift away. As the waves crash or ripple, hear God saying, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. When you rise from the water's edge, your soul will feel lighter, your faith renewed, and your mind clear. The water doesn't just cleanse your body, it cleanses your energy, your emotions, your spirit. Go to the water's edge and let God wash you new. 3. The quiet forest. Among the trees, God whispers in languages older than time. The forest is not just a collection of trees, it is a living cathedral built by the hands of the Creator himself. Every leaf hums with divine intelligence. Every rustle carries sacred rhythm. Every shaft of light filtering through the canopy is a message of grace and continuity. When you walk through a forest, something deep within you begins to slow down and synchronize with creation. Your breathing steadies, your heartbeat softens. You begin to feel connected, not just to nature, but to the source behind it all. Science calls this grounding or forest bathing, but the chosen know it as spiritual realignment. When your mind is scattered and your faith feels faint, go where the roots are deep. Step into the stillness where no one is trying to be anything. The trees simply are, steadfast, patient, growing silently toward light. They remind you that you too were planted with divine intention, and that every storm only strengthens your roots. When you touch the bark or sit upon the soil, you're not just connecting with the earth, you're plugging your spirit back into God's living energy field. The forest absorbs your noise and replaces it with calm. It listens without judgment. It teaches without words. And somewhere between the rustling leaves and the scent of earth, you'll realize that God's voice has never left you. It was just drowned by the world. So go where the whispers are holy. Let the song of the birds remind you that joy still exists. Let the sunlight through the branches remind you that light always finds a way. In the forest, your spirit is not lost. It is found again. 4. The sacred solitude of your room. You don't always need a mountain or a forest to encounter God. Sometimes, the holiest sanctuary is the quiet corner of your own room. That small, private space, when approached with intention, becomes a divine meeting ground. Close the door, silence your phone, dim the lights, and sit with God as though He were your closest friend, because He is. This is the place where you can remove the mask, where tears are not weakness but worship. Jesus Himself said, when you pray, go into your room, shut the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret. Matthew 6:6. There's sacred power in that instruction. It means you don't need an audience to access heaven. The secret place becomes a portal between your heart and God's. Light a candle or play soft worship music if you wish, but even the stillness alone is enough. Cry if you need to. Speak your truth. Ask for guidance. Thank Him for what you don't yet understand. In that sacred solitude, your walls become your altar, your breath becomes prayer, and your tears become holy water. The chosen ones know that solitude is not loneliness, it is sacred preparation. Every great move of God begins in hidden places. The quiet of your room becomes a womb of transformation where peace gestates, visions are conceived, and strength is reborn. It's where you can surrender your burdens without fear of judgment and be rebuilt in grace. When you emerge from that space, you are lighter, clearer, and spiritually recharged. Never underestimate your